Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rucha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone rule well and labor in its word and doctrine. So, in this video, as you can see from the time, I'm going to go through, 1 Kings chapter 17. Get up there, we go. Have to bring it up here. So, yeah, 1 Kings 17 is actually a beautiful chapter, man. It's a very good faith booster. It's a good scripture to bring out for the times that we're in, just to sort of, give us a parallel of things that could happen in our life. And I'm just going to share the screen momentarily. Salah. Oh, yeah. How do I? Oh, yeah, cool. Share screen is right there, literally. If I need to. All right, so First Kings chapter 17 and 1. And it says, And Elijah, the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, said unto Ahab, As Yahweh, power of Israel, liveth, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my word. So there shall be no dew nor rain. So there's going to be what? Famine then. You need rain. You need season changes for your for harvest and whatnot. So then, and the word of Yahweh came unto him, saying, Get thee hence and turn thee eastward and hide thyself by the brook of Hariath, is what it is in Hebrew, that is before Jordan or Yaradan. And it says, And it shall be that thou shalt drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. So as the scripture says, the ravens are commanded to feed them there. So the Most High is going to seal that instruction in ravens to do such tasks, right? Because the Most High can really and truly do everything, man. And we're going to see in this chapter that he really can literally just do anything because he is the Most High, okay? There's nothing you can do to go against him. If he wills for something, there's nothing you can do to stop it, because that's the power he has. He is ultimately the most powerful thing, the level that we cannot possibly ever in any possible way of human endeavor reach. Okay, we're only men. We're made by him, made of the earth, and he is indeed a spirit, and he's the chief spirit that made everything. So it's impossible to be on his level, and he's got the ability to make ravens have in their hearts to come to feed you. And guess what, man? There's a time of famine coming. There's going to be a famine coming, so you never know. This could be some of that could happen to us as well. There's 65 on that one, because it does say in Isaiah 65, and we bring this out quite a lot. It says that, Therefore, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. All right, so the servants of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai shall eat and drink in a time of famine. All right, a beautiful miracle. You never know how beautiful that miracle could be. It could be on the level of this, man, where a raven comes and feeds you. Okay, absolutely beautiful, man. Like, actually see that. I wonder how I would even react. I don't even know what to do, man. This is 1 Corinthians 17 and 5. So he went and did according to the word of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, for he went and dwelt by the brook Hariath, that is before Yaradan. And the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning. Look at that, man. Bread and flesh in the evening, and he drank of the brook both times, man. And he had water there to drink. And it says, and it came to pass after a while that the brook dried up because there had been no rain in the land. Okay, so eventually it dried up, and look what happened. And the word of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua came unto him, saying, Arise, get thee to Zarephath, which belongeth to Zidon, and dwell there. Behold, I have commanded a widow woman there to sustain thee. Again, the Most High, look, he's setting up people to feed him. All right, no matter what's happening, look, the Most High is still with him. He's not on his own. All right, he might be terrestrially at this point, going in his travels on his own, but the Most High is always there. He's always with you. He's always with his servants. He sees everything. And right now look, it says, I have commanded a widow woman that sustain thee. A command, all right, that's not going to be turned over. Now it says, so he arose and went to Zarephath, and when he came to the gate of the city, behold, the widow woman was there gathering of sticks. He called to her and said, Fetch me, I pray thee, a little water in a vessel, that I may drink. As she was going to fetch it, he called her and said, Bring me, I pray thee, a morsel of bread in thine hand. All right, so, and as she was going to fetch it, he said to her, you can also bring some bread, basically. In other words, he wanted to bake bread, or it goes into cakes or whatnot. It goes into bread. It's over here as well, actually. I can look into it. Take of this is, basically this is really for me as well, learning on the job, so to speak. So the word is my wag, which means Means cake, this feast as well. Cake of bread. Parasite. It's weird. Uncertain of why it says that. It's because it's what's it translated to? It's translated to cake or feast. It's only used twice, this word. It goes back to the word iwag. It says cake there. And iwag, make a cake. And obviously it wasn't like like a 3-layered chocolate cake thing. It was like a bread basically. Like flour, heat it up, most likely in some oil. But point is that there's food for him, and this is a scripture for to boost our strength. It's like I actually forgot what we were. I think it's over here, verse 12. It was right there. Sorry. It said, "As Yahweh thy power liveth, I have not a cake, but a handful of meal in a barrel." Right. So she's saying she doesn't necessarily have much. She says, and a little oil in a cruse. This is something that you use to carry liquids. And behold, I am gathering 2 sticks, and I may go in and dress it for me and my son, that we may eat it and die. All right. So in other words, she's saying, no, I don't have much. I don't have much. It's only, I only have this and that from my son. But what does she say? And Elijah said unto her, fear not, right? Have no fear. Go and do as thou hast said, but make me thereof a little cake first, and bring unto me, and after make for thee and for thy son. Right now it says, for thus saith the Yahweh power of Israel, the barrel of meal shall not waste, neither shall the cruse of oil fail. All right, until the day that Yahweh sendeth rain upon the earth. Look at that. Went and did according to the saying of Elijah, and he and her house did eat many days. All right, so there was faith in Elijah's heart, man. I not to worry about these things, basically. That's the faith we need to have, not to worry too much about it, man. And slowly, work on that strength in the carnal sense, like, when it comes to food. I made a video recently about that, how I used to have a real big problem with hunger, and it's really simmered down a lot, man. I don't really, like, there'd be days where I miss a meal, and I realize, oh, damn, I didn't have a meal today. I feel all right, though, There might be some days where you don't necessarily, you don't really have that choice. You may have done quite a bit more exercise that day than usual. Then you're like, damn, I should really eat something, what I mean? But again, even then, try days where even when you do exercise, slowly, bit by bit, So I'm saying that, but again, that's something I need to practice. A bit of practice for everything. But that's the whole point. It takes practice. It takes, diligence. Now it says, and the barrel of meal wasted not, neither did the cruse of oil fail, according to the word of Yahweh power, which he spake by Elijah. It says, and it came to pass after these things, that the son of the woman, the mistress of the house, fell sick, and his sickness was so sore that there was no breath left in him. In other words, he got so sick that his soul was taken away from him, man. All right, let's get that word breath, actually. That'll be word in Hebrew for breath. Where's it go? There it is. There you go. The word there is nashama. The nashama means, where is it? Yeah, breath, blast, spirit, inspiration. These are keywords here: inspiration, spirit. All right. The breath left him. Breath, spirit, breath of the Most High. It says, breath of man here in brackets. So it says breath of Most High in brackets and breath of man in brackets. So it's every breathing thing. It's a spirit of a man, right? Because the breath within him, and go, the spirit's in you, but your soul is in you. You have life then. And when someone's inspired, they're inspired, they're breathing within him. So when you're inspired, that breath is in them to have that inward desire to do something. Like if you watch the brother's video, now you're inspired to go out to the highways that very moment. And the breath is in you to just go out there through the brother's through his works, him being a servant of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Chai. It came to pass after these things, the son of the woman, the mistress of the house, fell sick, and his sickness was so sore that there was no breath left in him. He said unto Elijah, what have I to do with thee, O thou man of God? Art thou come unto me to call my sin to remembrance and to slay my son? Man. I mean, that's it seemed that she was just over emotional with the circumstance, And he said unto her, give me thy son. I can tell you something, man. When I've been around like son, women, man, when there's been deaths around, they respond horribly. They respond horribly, things like that. Then he said unto her, give me thy son, and he took him out of her bosom, watch this, and carried him up into a loft where he abode, and laid him upon his own bed. And he cried unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and said, O Yahweh my power, hast thou also brought evil upon the widow with whom I sojourned by slaying a son? And he stretched himself upon the child 3 times and cried unto Yahweh and said, "Oh Yahweh, my power, I pray thee, let his child's soul come into him again." So he's praying to revive him, to put the spirit in him again, so he can literally be resurrected. And then Yahweh heard the voice of Elijah. The soul of the child came into him again, and he revived. See, Yahweh Basham Yahshai can grab to anything. All right. I know there's going to be a lot of faithless dweebs, especially people in the world, the saying that how does that even make sense, man? He's dead, man. How you gonna get someone's like spirit back in him? How does it make sense, man? Are there gonna be people there's gonna be Muslims too gonna be like, somebody dies, that means that he has to always die. Now, they're gonna say these things because they don't understand the Lord can do anything. As Elijah took the child and brought him down out of the chamber into the house and delivered him unto his mother. Elijah said, "See, thy son liveth." And the woman said to Elijah, "Now by this I know that thou art a man of God, and that the word of Yahweh in thy mouth is truth," because she saw a miracle that can only be explained. That it can only be explained. How do we word it? The only explanation for it is that Yahweh Basham Yahshai is a true power, and he's working through his servant Elijah, right, who revived him through spirit, man. All right, and when miracles happen in the world, people are going to see it. When people see the servants of the Lord are eating, all right, they're not all fucking bugged out. They're all strong. They're all willing with that number, strong and mighty, and have no fear of man, have no fear of the devil, have no fear of being persecuted and whatnot. When they see these miracles, like and also people are going to be healed. That's a miracle, Some people hey, listen, man. People can be resurrected in time of miracle. People will see it and they will turn around completely. Well, people are going to be like, we're talking about the most grimiest niggas you can think of. It could turn around, man. They're going to see someone get healed then and there, like people with a bullet wound getting healed, people who are beaten up badly, all of a sudden being able to just be perfectly fine through the spirit. Because that's what the Most High can do, because he's not a terrestrial being, he's a spirit. He's of the celestial, he's a spiritual, he's the ultimate spiritual spirit, basically. All right, and spiritual power is beyond levels, man. If you wrote a book from the day you were born onwards about all the things you could imagine, that would be crazy. And I understand that sounds like an absolutely shit book, but just the point is if you was to do that, Most High could do an innumerable amount of times more than what you could possibly think of. No matter how much you get in this book, Most High can just do it all. And that's why you must have faith that he's got our back. There's many reasons why. Okay, there's many reasons why you must look into the word, but if there's any obvious reasons, it's because what other choice do you have, right? Now, in a time of trouble, they're gonna be like, well, what other, where else do we go? Because the barren of, it's gonna be barren of faith in that day. The scripture's going to, man, and people ain't just gonna, people aren't just gonna randomly, start believing things for the sake of. People are gonna, maybe they will deceive. Don't get me wrong, they'll be deceived. People aren't just gonna go over. They're gonna be like searching for answers, basically. How about that? That's some trust. People are gonna be searching for answers, right? And when they see miracles, it's going to be a very, very clear indicator. When they see strong men who are, were level-headed in a time of trouble, understand righteousness, that carry themselves in a way that's completely contrary to grimy ass niggas, they're going to believe, man. They're going to see and they're going to believe. They're going to know that, if it's a. Well, this is going to be in where I'm writing it. If I type in, you know what? Type in. If I just type in gold, and it's gonna be an absolute. Okay, all right. This is bad. You know what am I doing? Sirach. Oh, Sirach chapter 2 verse 4. Where's the KJV at? Sirach 2 and 4. It says, "Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state." It's quite hard to do sometimes. Take whatever's upon you cheerfully. It's very difficult to, be in a very low place and be cheerful. And it says, "And be patient when thou art changed to a low state." Sometimes it's very difficult to stay patient, but we must, because the scripture says so. That's enough. That's all you gotta do. It's enough. What else can we do? There's many reasons why you must go to the scriptures for the answers. Number one is because we must. It's a commandment. It's the only thing we have. All right. And then when you see everything going crazy, we're gonna be all right. Well, here we go. It's the time, right? It's the time when our faith will, really and truly be boosted. Or if this is not us, man. God forbid. But so unfortunately, there are going to be people who are going to fall out, man. It says, "My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation." That's number 1. That's chapter 2 and verse 1, right? It says, "Set thy heart aright and constantly endure and make no haste in time of trouble." Okay, you got always remember these scriptures when the trouble comes. As it cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at the last 10, right? Unfortunately, some people will depart, man. And when there is temptation in their soul, and if they're not really truly prepared for that day, then they will not serve the Lord. They will serve Aishah, the red man of Genesis 25, who, and the way they will ultimately do is by taking the haragma, all right, the C to the H to the I to the P, the fish and chips in their head or in their hand. "Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low state. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity." So adversity is needed for us to, really grow and sprout and become a man. All right. Ultimately, a man of the Lord. Okay. Because you can go to some level of adversity in the worldly sense and have some level of masculinity, but it's all about being, 360 all around a man of the Lord. All right. Not easy, Again, "My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation." That's what it reads. There's going to be temptation. When you read scriptures like this, all it does is boost your faith and make you go, "What else can we do, right?" I mean, look at this. I mean, such. I mean, look at this, man. "And Yahweh heard the voice of Elijah, and the soul of the child came into him again, and he revived." That's why like he brought someone who was dead alive again, man. That's what Yahweh can do for his servants. Look at the word revive as well. Chaya. Oh, okay. Oh, it's a Chaya. Yeah, it is Chaya. Right. Very similar to Eve's name. Right. Eve's name, I believe, is Hawa. Chaya, going to live, have life, remain alive, sustain life, live prosperous. Basically, going to have life in him. So life was within him again. Yeah, is the word there. Hawa. To tell, declare, show, make known. And I believe you go, because remember, these vowel points, doesn't let you highlight them. The vowel points were not in ancient Hebrew, they were added to the language. So that's why it says Hawa, whatever the hell. It really isn't that, though. It's actually Hawa. Let me just check some. Because how do I go left and right on this thing, man? That, I don't want to press a bunch of random things. Don't usually use this. The laptop. Yeah, I don't usually use the website. I'm a bit lost already. Let me just look around real quick. I go here, give me. If I press this, will it take me to a different thing? Okay, it will. Oh, there you go. Eve's name, Hawa. Light. It says Eve, life or living. The first woman, wife of Adam. It really doesn't even say it's the first woman, man. I'm going to do that, but don't worry about that. Again, the Buddha Bible just go off sometimes. All you assholes want to talk shit. It does sometimes, but spirit is what helps you discern. It's all a spiritual thing. Okay, to chew the flesh and spit the bones. Okay, I didn't want to make this video too long. I just wanted to bring out this chapter, show you, God can do everything, and we must have faith that there's nothing is impossible for the Lord. If we have faith, Most High will see that, and He will honor you, and He will be like, He will do what you desire for the sake of you being able to, prosper in this truth ultimately. He won't give you something that you desire if it's just, for bullshit shit. He's not like, he's not going to give you vain stuff unless you're set up to just do vain things. That's why He would do it, because of course people are given vain stuff in the world. They've been set up to vain things. It's for them to be a vessel of dishonor. Well, you must always pray that we're a vessel of honor. Right? Adon Ratazah, this video was edifying and comforting. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Wafak Kadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone of the world, and labor in His word and doctrine. One.